The Novoshakhtinsk oil refinery in southern Russia has been burning for 5 straight days, and Russian emergency crews still cannot extinguish the massive fire. This facility is one of the largest suppliers of petroleum products in the region, making the damage especially painful for Moscow. The strike highlights how vulnerable Russia's energy infrastructure has become. Refineries are not only critical to keeping the war machine running, but also to sustaining regional economies. Every day the blaze continues. It disrupts fuel production, tightens supply, and increases the pressure on Russia's already stretched logistics. According to Reuters, the impact is being felt beyond the battlefield. Oil prices have climbed following Ukraine's intensified strikes on Russian energy facilities. For the Kremlin, the longer these refineries burn, the deeper the economic and military costs, and the harder it becomes to project stability at home and strength abroad. From Russia's Rybar, one of the top pro-Kremlin Telegram channels, on the possibility of delivering Garin drones to Venezuela as a deterrent against U.S. How will the situation change if Russian Garin UAVs are delivered to Venezuela? Let's imagine that, say, 2,000 Garins are delivered to the Bolivarian Republic. Then the Venezuelans will be able to reach American bases in the Caribbean region and, under certain conditions, even facilities on the U.S. mainland. What can the Garins hit when launched from Caracas? The Guantanamo Naval Base in Cuba, which can accommodate about 50 ships of different classes and about 5,000 servicemen. It was from there that one of the littoral ships, LCS-21, which is now circling near the coast of Venezuela, has departed. Fort Buchanan Air Force Base in Puerto Rico, which is an important element of the American military presence in the Caribbean. Muniz Air Force Base is also located there, an airfield from which P-8 anti-submarine patrol aircraft operate. St. Croix Air National Guard Base in the Virgin Islands is a logistics hub for the U.S. Air Force, where B-52 strategic bombers periodically fly. Finally, instructors from the American Special Forces are stationed on the territory of the Melgar Air Force Base in Colombia. What if we launch the Garins from the western regions of Venezuela or barges? Homestead Air Force Reserve Base in Florida is a target, where squadrons of F-15 and F-16 fighters and C-130 transport aircraft are based. B-52 bombers can also be stationed there. Soto Cano Air Force Base in Honduras is a target, which, among other things, houses the headquarters of Joint Task Force Bravo, JTF Bravo. Atlantic Undersea Test Center, AUTEC, in the Bahamas is a target, which is a key facility for complex testing of American nuclear submarines and other promising models of deep-sea technology. Although the Americans are quite capable of shooting down Garins, if Venezuela acquires several thousand of these UAVs, they, U.S., will be forced to increase the number of forces and assets, since the probability of an VEN airstrike will not be so illusory. Although the Americans are quite capable of shooting down Garins, if Venezuela acquires several thousand of these UAVs, they, U.S., will be forced to increase the number of forces and assets, since the probability of an VN airstrike will not be so illusory. This may make the authorities in Washington think, is the game worth the candle if, instead of a cavalry charge, it will be necessary to pull together a large military, offensive grouping? Especially in the context of overexertion of the U.S. Navy due to activities in the Asia-Pacific region and the Middle East. Venezuela is a major buyer of Russian weapons, and the supply of Garins to it is obvious, and other countries, seeing this, will clearly want to acquire an affordable long arm of Russian production. There are significant detriments to Venezuela if it actually chooses to strike U.S. military assets in the region. Rybar's post is likely more about advertising a potentially cheap and combat-proven Russian drone export. A Russian soldier illegally crossed into Norway near the border at Grense-Jakobselv and applied for asylum in Norway. The Norwegian publication Dagbladet reported on this. The Russian serviceman crossed the border from Russia into Grense-Jakobselv in the Finnmark region on Friday and submitted an asylum application in Norway. This was confirmed on Saturday morning by lawyer Trond P. Bø to Dagbladet. He submitted an asylum application, and I expect that he will go through the usual asylum procedure. He crossed the border on foot, over the fence. After crossing the border, he tried to contact the Norwegian authorities on the spot, said Bø. The Finnmark police stated that during the interrogation, the man admitted to illegally crossing the border from Russia into Norway through Grense Jakobselv. The police also confirmed that the man has applied for asylum, both in the interests of the man himself and the investigation. We cannot disclose information that can be linked to him. The police are currently working on verifying the information he provided during the interrogation. There may be a need to conduct further interrogations throughout the day, the prosecutor's office said. In July, a former mercenary of the Wagner PMC was detained on Finnish territory after illegally crossing the border and applying for asylum. The Norwegian border in the Grense Jakobselv area. Norway intends to maintain a high level of support for Ukraine next year, allocating around $8.5 billion, Prime Minister Støre said.
Today, Mr. President, I have announced that Norway's high level of support to Ukraine in 2025 will be continued into 2026. So that means, translated into currency, you understand, $8.5 billion in 2026, which I will propose to Parliament. Parliament has in the past unanimously supported our Nansen program, and I'm confident that we will be able to maintain that at a high level, but this has been determined by my government's budget proposal. Then, on security guarantees, there is discussions among your partners on reliable security guarantees that can enter into force after there is a fair and lasting peace, so that Ukraine can avoid having another aggression coming at its people. Norway has been part of those discussions since the beginning. We will continue to be there. And my conviction is that the biggest and most significant security guarantee we can provide is strengthening Ukraine's defense capacity in all dimensions. And Norway has, since the beginning, been guided by the following principle: responding to Ukrainian needs, delivering material that can be made operational immediately. We have worked on air defense. NASAMS is a Norwegian production. I'm very pleased that together with Germany we are now able to facilitate 2 Patriot systems that we will co-fund. What you experience night after night of attacks by drones and missiles is completely unacceptable, and we will do what we can to help you defend yourself against it. We are, together with the UK, working on the maritime dimension. You have important maritime interests along the Black Sea. We are making progress on that. And we take your clear signal, Mr. President, about the drone dimension. So we are part of the drone coalition. We are now investing in Ukrainian industry.
Thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe. Also, if you want to support Warthog Defense, please become our member and get early access to new videos, exclusive members-only videos, and become administrator in comment section. The membership link is in the description.
Rescues every day. We had a guy last week at 6 rescues in 6 days. You know, he's doing the job every day.